Hello, welcome to No Inches DIY. Got a review on this little, I think it cost about $25 pasta machine. I just lashed out the other day, said I'm rich, I'm having it. So let's see what's in the box. We got the pasta dryer. So you pull them out, push them in, pull out, push in, and they're in that locked in position. Turn into position and lock in. They're very tight. They probably do go further than that. I don't want to force it. Instructions. Now this is your cutter that cuts your different shapes. It looks like there's a spaghetti and a fettuccine shape there. Okay, clamp. Basically sits flat. Just one slides into the other like that. Alright. Then you got a handle. Pasta cutter. Pasta roller. We've got our depth gauge here. When you go all the way down to 9, it looks like it's about 1 millimetre thick. When you start at 1, it's probably about 3 or 4 millimetres thick. Alright, I don't think I need to read the instructions. I think I got it set. So the next step is obviously making the pasta. I'm going to just do 4 eggs, 400 grams of flour, bit of salt, bit of oil. Now, I forgot to buy batteries for my weigher, so we are going to go 2 cups of this. I'm going to assume a cup of this is about 200 grams. A bit extra there. I've never made this before. I just watched someone do it on YouTube. Thought, how hard can it be? Alright, make a well. Bang. So they basically use 100 grams of flour to each egg. Nose up, make sure I don't have any runaways. Quite often when you make bread and you've got all your wet and dry ingredients in the well, you can have a escapee. It's the most acidic tap water in the world. Perth tap water. Let's add some. Now when you watch Vincenzo's plate, he's very critical of pastas that are orange, as he says. A little bit sticky. I just got a bit over amorous and got the flour down my front side. We've had a lot of trial and error, mostly error. I think I didn't have the pasta floury enough and it might have been a bit sticky and it got stuck inside the pasta cutter. So 2 screws, you undo those, and then there's pins that hold a plastic, there's a plastic thing in there that peels the pasta off the rollers, and I think I put a bit in that was just too wet and that all got clogged up. So let's try. Yes. Sticky pasta is the enemy. And I learnt those rollers are a bit sharp. So now we've got it, and it's cutting noodles. Yes. And those can go on the rack to dry. I think I'll need a lot of practice before I become a professional nonna. Now, it wouldn't be a proper review if I didn't use very thin cutter, probably a spaghetti. No, spaghetti's extruded, so this is probably a, I don't know what that shape's called. Like a fettuccine, but very thin. I'll probably see if I can roll down to a very thin size here, and then I'll give that a try. Okay, I'm down to 5 or 6 there, and that dough's getting a bit sticky, so I will add some flour. That's on the 9th setting. That's on the 9th setting. That's as thin as it goes. Very thin. Now let's try this. I'll make sure I flour this up really well. I'm going to try the very thin cutter now. Look at this. Now those might gone a bit long, but I think they will work. It's a great activity for making a mess. Secret is plenty of flour. Get stuck in the noodle cutters, you've got a bit of a task. My pasta rack's fairly full there. I've learnt that you've got to have the dough fairly well floured so it doesn't stick to the cutters. And I think I've probably done a decent job there. Now I'll just make a little sauce and we will cook this pasta and see what it tastes like. I'm going to just make a pasta sauce that will go with that pasta I made. And the great thing about pasta sauce is just whatever you got left over, make it into a sauce. So I've got some marinated chicken steaks there. I've got some Swiss browns here. This is why pasta got so popular in Italy, because you could basically, whatever you had left over or was in season, you could make a pasta sauce out of it. And I've got some ingredients to use up, and I just put them all in, and generally you'll end up with something that tastes pretty good. Okay, a bit of leftover capsicum, a bit of tomato, and if you want to make something nice, I don't know what type of onion this is, but it was perfect size for the dish. So I've got everything I need for a sauce there. Now I'll just take it to the fry pan and fry it up. I'm just going to fry this shallot. Meanwhile, I've got some water starting to boil. Alright, that's starting to brown up. I'll use this leftover bit of tomato in there. Got the fresh pastas in, put the lid on, bring it up to the boil. I can't read the directions on the packet because there's no packet. Alright, so I think my pasta's pretty close to done, although I've got no idea what I'm doing with this. Fresh pasta. Put that straight in the pan.